The snow fell softly on Baku's Heydar Aliyev International Airport, blanketing the runways in a serene white. Inside, the atmosphere was warm and festive, a stark contrast to the cold outside. Families, bundled in winter wear, eagerly awaited the arrival of Flight 404 from Baku, Azerbaijan to Kyiv, Ukraine. The air was filled with excitement and the promise of holiday reunions. Among them were children clutching small gifts, their eyes sparkling with anticipation and joy, dreaming of the moment they would see their loved ones. Christmas Day 2022 promised joy, a time for families to reunite and celebrate. The airport was adorned with decorations, adding to the festive spirit. However, high above the wintry landscape, a very different story was unfolding, one that would shatter the festive mood. Azerbaijan Airlines Flight 404 and Airbus A321 embarked on its scheduled journey, cutting through the snowy skies. On board were 162 souls, passengers and crew, all connected by the promise of a holiday reunion, each with their own stories and dreams. As minutes turned into hours, a chilling silence replaced the earlier anticipation at the arrival gate. The festive decorations now seemed out of place. The festive atmosphere dissipated, replaced by a growing sense of dread and worry. Faces that once held smiles now showed concern. Flight 404, expected at 1850 local time, was nowhere in sight. The minutes dragged on, each one heavier than the last. News trickled in, fragmented and terrifying. The uncertainty was unbearable. Contact with the aircraft had been lost shortly after takeoff. The control room was filled with tension. The world held its breath, bracing for the worst. Families clung to hope, even as fear crept in. This was not just a flight gone missing, it was a tragedy unfolding on Christmas Day, a day meant for joy and togetherness. It was a stark reminder of life's fragility against the backdrop of global tensions, a somber note on a day meant for celebration. The tragedy of Flight 404 cannot be viewed in isolation. It is a part of a larger, more complex narrative that involves multiple layers of geopolitical tension and historical context. It played out against a backdrop of escalating geopolitical tensions, particularly between Azerbaijan and its powerful neighbor Russia. The historical ties and recent frictions between these nations added to the complexity. The ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine further complicated the situation, casting a long shadow over the region. This conflict has had far-reaching implications, affecting not just the immediate neighbors but the entire geopolitical landscape. Azerbaijan, rich in oil and natural gas, found itself precariously positioned. Its wealth and natural resources made it a significant player, but also a target in the geopolitical chess game. Its close ties to Turkey, a NATO member, and its aspirations for closer integration with the West created friction with Russia. These alliances and ambitions were seen as provocative by Moscow. Moscow, viewing the region as its sphere of influence, watched these developments with suspicion. The Kremlin's strategic interests in maintaining control over its neighboring regions were clear. The flight itself, from Baku to Kyiv, underscored these delicate geopolitical dynamics. It was more than just a route. It was a symbol of the intricate and often fraught relationships between these nations. It served as a tangible link between two former Soviet republics, each navigating its own complex relationship with Russia. The historical context of their Soviet past added another layer of complexity. The passengers on board, citizens of Azerbaijan, Ukraine, and other nations, were unwittingly caught in the crosscurrents of this volatile geopolitical landscape. Their journey was a microcosm of the broader tensions and uncertainties that defined the region. As confusion reigned, disturbing accounts began to emerge from those who witnessed the tragedy unfold. Residents living near the airport reported hearing a deafening explosion that shook their homes. Others described seeing a fiery streak across the night sky, followed by a plume of black smoke billowing upwards. Emergency responders rushed to the crash site, located in the Caspian Sea just off the coast of Azerbaijan. The scene that greeted them was one of utter devastation. Wreckage littered the water, a grim testament to the violence of the impact. Hopes of finding survivors dwindled with each passing hour. The crash sent shockwaves far beyond Azerbaijan's borders. World leaders expressed their condolences while international media outlets scrambled to piece together the events leading up to the disaster. The world watched, horrified, as the tragedy unfolded on their screens, the festive season forever marred by the loss of innocent lives. In a surprising turn of events, Russian President Vladimir Putin issued a rare public apology for the tragedy. This act, unusual for the typically stoic leader, fueled speculation and raised eyebrows on the global stage. Was this an admission of guilt, an attempt to manage the narrative, or a gesture of genuine remorse? Putin's apology, while unexpected, did little to quell the mounting questions surrounding the crash. The Kremlin, often tight-lipped about such incidents, maintained that the crash was a terrible tragedy but stopped short of accepting responsibility. The apology, delivered with a somber tone, only deepened the mystery. It highlighted the high stakes involved and the potential for the incident to escalate already tense relations between Russia and the West. The world waited with bated breath, seeking clarity amidst the swirling speculation. Section 5. Global Implications, Shifting Sands in International Relations. The downing of Flight 404 sent shockwaves through the international community, exposing the fragility of peace in an already volatile region. Governments and international organizations alike grappled with the implications of the incident, particularly given the heightened tensions between Russia and the West. The incident served as a stark reminder of the interconnected nature of global affairs. What began as a national tragedy quickly escalated into an international crisis, demanding a coordinated response from the global community. The crash also brought to the forefront the human cost of geopolitical maneuvering. Behind the headlines and the political analysis were real people, families torn apart, lives cut short, and futures forever altered. The incident served as a somber reminder that even in the 21st century, peace remains an elusive goal. Section 6. The United States and the International Response. The United States, along with its NATO allies, expressed deep concern over the incident. The crash, occurring within the context of Russia's ongoing conflict with Ukraine, further strained relations between Moscow and the West. The U.S. called for a thorough and transparent investigation, emphasizing the need for accountability. The incident presented a delicate diplomatic challenge. The United States, while wary of escalating tensions with Russia, felt compelled to respond firmly to what appeared to be a deliberate act of aggression. The crash highlighted the difficult balancing act faced by world leaders in navigating such crises. The incident underscored the importance of international cooperation in investigating such incidents. With the world watching, the pressure was on to ensure a fair and impartial investigation, one that would provide answers and hopefully some measure of closure for the grieving families. Section 7. The Black Box Key to Unraveling the Mystery. Amidst the wreckage and the speculation, one piece of evidence held the key to understanding what truly transpired on that fateful Christmas day: the black box. This near-indestructible device containing the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder became the focal point of the investigation. Recovering the black box from the depths of the Caspian Sea was a race against time. International teams equipped with specialized sonar and underwater retrieval systems worked tirelessly to locate and retrieve this crucial piece of evidence. The black box, once recovered and analyzed, promised to provide invaluable insights into the final moments of Flight 404. It held the potential to reveal whether the crash was a tragic accident, a result of technical malfunction, or something far more sinister. Section 8. Justice and Accountability, the Aftermath. As the investigation progressed, the international community demanded justice and accountability. If the crash was indeed a result of foul play, those responsible would need to be held accountable for their actions. The families of the victims deserved answers, closure, and a sense that justice had been served. The incident served as a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict and the urgent need for peaceful resolution. The downing of a civilian aircraft, regardless of the circumstances, is a tragedy that demands a united response from the global community. In the wake of the crash, calls for increased air safety measures and improved international cooperation resonated across the globe. The incident highlighted the vulnerabilities of civil aviation and the need for enhanced security protocols to prevent such tragedies from occurring in the future. Section 9. A stark reminder: navigating a fragile world. The tragedy of Azerbaijan Airlines Flight 404 stands as a grim reminder of the fragility of peace and the unpredictable nature of our world. It highlights the far-reaching consequences of geopolitical tensions, affecting not just nations but individuals and families. This incident underscores the human cost of conflict, a cost that is often measured in lives lost and families shattered. It emphasizes the urgent need for diplomacy, dialogue, and a steadfast commitment to peaceful resolutions to prevent such tragedies. As we move forward, it is imperative that we learn from this tragedy and take proactive steps to ensure it never happens again. We must strive to build a world where such incidents are not relegated to mere headlines, but are remembered as catalysts for positive change. These events should serve as a wake-up call, pushing us towards a future where dialogue replaces discord, and where respect for human life transcends political differences and national boundaries. In this interconnected world, the crash of Flight 404 serves as a stark reminder that peace is not a spectator sport. It requires the active participation of every nation and every individual working together in harmony. We must all contribute to building a future where tragedies like this become a relic of the past, a distant memory. Only through collective effort and unwavering dedication can we hope to achieve lasting peace and security for all. Let us work together to build a future where such tragedies are no longer a part of our reality, but a lesson from which we have learned.